Hello again, everyone out there, and welcome back to the Dreadcast. My name is Tom. Co-host Nick is not here for this little intro. I just wanted to get a quick intro in to say welcome to episode 2 of our Saw tier list ranking. Still not nailing down that title, but welcome to us ranking the traps from the Saw franchise, and this is episode 2. So if you have joined us episode 2 rather than episode 1, you're a crazy person, but thank you anyway, and do go back and check out episode 1. But if you are here on episode 2, or whatever it be, YouTube or Spotify or Amazon or Apple, whatever you're listening to or watching us on, I just want to state, you may notice during this episode that there may be some character names we miss, there may be some plot points that we miss. I personally have not watched every single film leading up to us recording this episode. There was just no time. But I have watched them many times over the past years, many times. So they're in the brain. There's just a few details missing that we use the wonderful Saw trivia to help out in these episodes. So it kind of adds to the discussion. You know, we're discovering new things as we go and just clicking in the brain, if you will. Nick, wonderful co-host of the show, had done the homework, so he was a big help as well. So I just wanted to put that out there in case you were thinking, oh, these guys don't know what they're talking about. We kind of do and we kind of don't, basically. So if you can just give us a bit of leeway for this, that would be much appreciated. Thank you very much. And on that note, I hope you enjoy episode 2 and 3, and there might be a 4th one, depends how I edit it, of how we rank the traps from the Saw franchise, excluding Spiral. Enjoy, guys.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Do you ever fantasize about
damn enchiladas?
That's much too vulgar a display of power, Karen.
Let me ask you one question. Are you having fun?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Because I promise you, you and I are gonna have some fun.
Oh, no.
It is time to keep your appointment with the Wicker Man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Shut up, you bitch hog. Game over.
Welcome back to part 2.
Welcome back to part 2 of our Saw trap tier list spectacular. I just realised I've still got the headphones. I'm going to keep them on. They keep my ears warm. I'll be honest, I haven't, by the time we're recording this, I haven't edited the part 1 episode. So
where we do Saw 1, 2, 3 and 4.
Yes, and I can't, I feel like there's a few things we've missed as I briefly look at traps for Saw 5. Yeah, but yes, welcome back to the Dreadcast. My name is Tom. This is Nick. This is our Saw trap. Messed it up already. So,
it's the Saw trap tier list.
Help me, Nick.
Saw trap tier list.
What's that called?
It's Saw tips. Tips for your saws.
Yes, this is part 2. So click back in the corner if you want to go check out. I don't know why you'd start part 2, but yeah, go up to the top right hand corner if you want to go check out our tier list reviews of Saw 1 to 4 of all the traps, and as we pointed out in the last episode, not just traps, booby traps and
non-traps, location. I don't. What
would one of them be? The
in the hallway,
like Jeff's final test or things like that. You know, yeah, the hallway.
Jeff's final test is a trap though, because Jeff's final test he had to forgive and he didn't forgive. So he died. Where it was a trap, yeah.
Okay.
Whereas the hallway shotguns was just a booby trap to make sure people couldn't get in. Yeah. That's not a Saw trap. That's just a booby trap.
Yeah, I suppose so. Remind the folks how we are ranking these.
Well, we've just gone with different
Saws.
Types of saw, yeah. So we're saying chainsaw are the most dangerous, followed by circular saw, followed by bandsaw, then hacksaw.
And that infamous saw type, a hammer.
Because they are not saws. So the non-saw traps are hammers because it's not a saw.
How long would it take you to saw through something with a hammer? Like a blunt object.
Beat it, you know.
So yeah, in part 1, we spent, I think that episode was nearly 2 hours.
Yeah, we did chat a lot of shit.
Quite methodical.
A lot of it was looking up the traps and reading up about them
Yeah.
to refresh our memory.
And I'm definitely not just getting up the Saw wiki on the other screen right now.
It's a good wiki.
It's a good wiki, and I'm personally going to need it because I've not had time to watch the films to catch up. So it's all brain power and wiki, and you, because you've put the work in.
Oh, yeah. In between the last recording session and this one, I rewatched Saw 5, Saw 6, Saw 3D, and Jigsaw, so that's 5, 6, 7, and 8. I haven't rewatched Spiral because you said we're not going to include it.
No.
And I didn't rewatch Saw X because I've seen that recently enough that it's still fresh.
Yeah, I feel like I can remember enough of Saw X. I really wish. So you Saw 5, 6, and then it went 3D. Why didn't they? I wish they just called it Saw 7 3D.
Because it was their plan to end the franchise.
Yeah.
Because Saw 6 had not done well financially, so they thought, fuck it. They had planned to do future films, and they thought they're going to cram all the storylines together in Saw 3D, and that'll be the final film.
See,
it was almost a 10-year gap, though, between Saw 3D and Jigsaw.
But wasn't there a Saw film called Saw the final chapter?
That is the rebranding name for Saw 3D.
Right. This is where I get so confused over a lot of naming conventions of these films. Just give me 1, 2, 3, 4, and I know studios hate that.
Yeah.
They hate it because the higher the number, they think people aren't gonna be bothered. It's not true. If you just create good stories, people will go to see it. So yeah,
but also it was in the middle of the whole big 3D.
Yes, it was.
Every film has to be called 3D now.
Look how well that went.
Watching Saw 3D, you can, even though I'm watching it on my normal TV, you can see all the times they thought, let's just do this. Let's have something coming towards the camera.
Yeah, that's the problem when they tried to do a 3D film, but it's too obvious. It's too on the nose.
Yeah. I saw 3D at the cinema.
I will always state the best 3D film I've ever seen in the cinema was Jackass 3D because it wasn't in your face with the 3D. Like, it wasn't...
But there was a lot of good fun 3D.
There was a lot of good fun 3D, but it wasn't... Friday the 13th, part 3, which is 3D, guy holds an eyeball to the camera. And it's to the camera. He's not putting it at anyone who is meant to be the camera. It's for the... Whoa! The 3D effect.
The best 3D stuff I've seen is 4D. So, got Pirates 4D.
Is that Fort Park?
Yeah.
With Leslie Nielsen.
Was glorious.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that very well.
Also, there was Terminator 2.
Oh, okay.
It was a T2 4D experience at, I think it was Universal in Florida. Yeah. Where Robert Patrick's head comes out of the screen because he's looking for Arnie in the theatre. So his head comes out the screen and looks around.
That's really cool.
It was, because at the time, this was like early 2000s. It was really good.
I don't know if 4D's even as an attraction a thing anymore, really, is it? I mean, I don't really frequent theme parks that much, but...
Nor do I, but I know that the Pirates 4D still exists in Singapore.
Does it?
My sister was in Singapore, and she went, oh, it's here, but it was its own attraction. You had to pay, and it was Singapore's expensive.
Yeah.
It was something like about 20 quid to go and do it. She was like, I did this at Thorpe Park so many times. I'm not paying to do it again.
Yeah,
but
that's understandable.
She told me it's still around. It's still kind of sold off.
That's
and
amazing.
licensed.
Glad it's still getting use.
I'm glad Leslie Nielsen's still being seen by new people.
Yeah. As you can also see, if you're watching the YouTube video, thank you for checking it out on YouTube as well. We are actually we're just parked outside the Sawyer house. This is definitely not a cardboard backdrop I whipped up within about 4 hours at work today.
It's very strong, very strong and powerful. Yeah,
you need to be careful. That will fall. No, it won't. I mean, it won't fall. It's a sturdy house. Even this is more horror than video games. We're on a horror show here.
It's also more horror than the Texas Chainsaw film on Netflix. That's scary for a different reason.
I mentioned the other day that there's some films that we've probably done in the past episodes of this show that it might be good to do with you again. Different opinions, different perspectives.
Okay.
We have done the Netflix Texas Chainsaw on this show, and I know you have thoughts. So maybe in the future we'll come back to that. But for now, we have more traps to get through from Saw 5 onwards. Like I said at the beginning, Saw 1 to 4 in part 1 of this trap tier spectacular. Tell us your favourite trap in the whole series.
It's the reverse bear trap. It's straight in there. It's iconic for Saw.
But what if someone really loves flammable jelly in life and in film?
It's such a big part of regular life, of course.
Oh, right. So, Saw 5.
We've only got 3 traps we think right now are kind of top tier.
And I'm happy with that. I'm happy that we've really allocated Chainsaw as in tier A, rank S, whatever, top tier, to really specific choices. I'm happy with that. So yeah, Saw 5. We start with the pendulum trap.
Yeah, so guy is strapped to a bed.
Yep.
He has got a pendulum swinging above him, big blade.
Brutal pendulum as well.
Yeah. And he's got to put his hands through to press these kind of buttons, which will, if he holds them there, I think for 30 seconds, then
like clamps, right? That comes in.
Well, the idea is that he's pressing it and then it will cause like a vice to crush his hands.
Yeah, that's it, a vice.
But he has to kind of hold his hands in there to get crushed to then stop the pendulum.
I think, are there buttons at the end?
He
pushes
has to
them
go kind of through the vice to then hit these little kind of levers almost.
Now, the plot point of this, though, is that there was no escape, right?
It wasn't a saw trap, it was an execution machine.
Because Hoffman, which I don't know if you remember, at the end of the last episode, when we were talking about part 4, do you remember, if at all, we talked about the reveal of Hoffman being... I don't think we mentioned it once, because the FBI agent, who I cannot remember the life of me, who is in the next one, the water cube, he gets trapped.
Steel. It'll come up. We'll read it in a minute.
He gets trapped in the surgery room that Jigsaw has been operated on by the doctor that gets kidnapped in Saw 3.
Yep.
Well, I think we completely glossed over that. So, so the pendulum trap, which is technically not a trap.
Yeah.
I mean, how does Webster define a trap?
So, the thing is, it would have been a saw trap if Hoffman didn't rig it that it will still kill him anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Because everything else, the idea of putting your hands through the taking the crushing hands, because the way it was phrased in his tape as it was being played was, your hands have been like weapons. You've used your hands to commit violence. So if you insert your hands and you do this, we'll take your hands away, take away your implements of violence, but then you get to live. So it's got all the setup of a good saw trap.
Yeah.
It's got...
Yeah, it's all there.
There's a reason behind why he's specifically having his hands damaged, because he beat someone to death with them.
Is that technically right? Because it's Hoffman's sister.
Yeah. He beat Hoffman's sister to death.
Yeah.
So he beat her to death. So the idea of take your hands away that you used to kill somebody with, because he got out on a technicality.
Yeah,
so
he
was supposed
got
to be in
out
prison
5
for longer.
years out of a life sentence.
So it had all the perfect setup of a saw trap, but the fact that it was set up that he couldn't actually win, because he did put his hands through, they were crushed, he did get it to kind of trigger that, say he's won, and then it just kept on swinging and getting lower anyway.
But the reason...
This could both be a kind of circular saw or bandsaw. This could be a decent level of trap, but it could also be a hammer because he couldn't get out of it.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. And when I'm talking about, is it a trap or not? And I think it, because of the context of the trap and what we find out later, which is actually we are 2 traps to go, which we find out the reason why he couldn't escape in the end at all. I think that cancels it out. I think it's great, but
it's an execution machine.
It's a completely execution machine.
Okay.
But if we look back, have we got any that have been traps where they've been inescapable? Because we've got like the rack.
Yeah, the angel trap. Saw 3.
The angel trap, which is
the one that explodes her.
Yes,
Dizzy from
Dizzy. That's what you said last time. Yeah.
But the idea that she got the key out of the acid, she unlocked it, but it's still triggered. But because it was set up, it could have been a saw trap, even though they rigged it so you couldn't win.
Yeah.
The setup was it was like a saw trap. It was a proper saw trap, just thumb on the scale. You couldn't actually win it. We accepted it for the kind of the engineering and the setup of the idea.
As far as
I would do the same with this pendulum.
Yeah, I think so. I love the setup, the engineering, just the design of it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't fit the pattern. So bandsaw.
Yep.
Water cube. Now we're going to need to know
this straight into hammer. It's not a trap. There is no way to win this.
No way.
Box is over his head. Water fills up the box.
Yeah.
But there's no way to get the box off. There's no tape that plays.
You sure? Because I've got here. There's a tape. Peter Stram. Hello, Agent Stram. If you're hearing, I'm not going to do the voice.
Okay, but this is a tape that plays when he's in the other room. This tape plays when he's in the surgery room.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And he goes through into the next room, and that's when the trap comes out. And normally,
Mister, I've watched the films.
But normally, when you're in the trap, it then tells you how you escape the trap. This is just, oh well, you weren't happy finding my body. I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah, he's isn't he knocked out and placed in the trap?
No. Oh yeah, he is. He gets knocked out and then he wakes up. He's standing there with the box on his head.
Yeah, and it starts to fill up.
2 big tubes fill up with water from the top.
Yeah.
So it's just designed to kill him.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't.
No, because he uses a pen.
He gives himself an emergency tracheotomy with a pen. Yes. Smart work.
Lucky he had the pen.
Oh, what was his name?
The FBI agent.
Yep.
Peter Stram.
Stram. There we go.
May have butchered that name. Stram.
It's Stram.
Is it Graham or Graham? Get it right.
This is pronounced Stram.
Is it Craig or Greg?
Shut the hell up. I've watched the film. Yeah, so
they know who I'm talking to. What do you want? You want it hammer?
Graham, you mean Jack Bauer's brother?
Graham.
But this is not a trap. This is just designed to kill him. But there's no way out. There's no setup. Like, at least with the pendulum trap, there was an idea that you could escape it. At least with the angel trap, there was an idea to escape it. This was just, you're going to die.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Speaking of 24, there is an actor in this film from 24. And
Milo!
Morris,
damn it. I've
Chloe's
watched 24 for a long time.
And there's also a 24 actor in, I think it's all 3D.
All right, we'll get to it then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with Watercube. Shotgun chair. So as we said earlier, this is Hoffman's trap.
Yeah.
This is him being exposed by Jigsaw for setting up the pendulum trap and trying to basically take revenge on his sister's murderer and set it all up on Jigsaw.
Yeah.
That's it.
He kills her, then he cuts out a Jigsaw piece of skin, so everyone it's clearly a Jigsaw killer.
But the trap itself that he's in, I tried reading because spoiler, I've had to read the wiki a lot. I've been very busy. Okay, I didn't really understand this one. I don't really remember it. It was very, very, very quick in the film. He's got a shotgun pointed up to him, and I think if he moves his arms, it will trigger the trigger.
Yeah, there's like a piece of string over the trigger.
Yeah,
so he's got to be very careful.
But John places a mirror in front of him as like look at what you're doing. Look at yourself. And I think he's so distraught he actually moves his arm, pulls the trigger, and then the gun's not loaded.
No, it's more John holds him in that position to then talk to him.
Yeah. And
be able to have his full attention and let John explain, you know you're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
But you can help me to do this right. You can become like my assistant, my helper.
Yeah, yeah.
And then John unties him. And pretty much leaves the shotgun there. So you can grab the shot, you can kill me if you want.
Yeah.
Type of thing. It's just testing him.
I think it's not a trap again.
No.
Because John knew John knew the outcome of this.
Yeah.
It's just a lesson, really. Granted, all of these are lessons, really, but I don't think it's worthy of anything, really.
No.
It's not bad. It's a nothing trap, really. So, unfortunately, in there. Come closer. You're out of. It's like you're being dragged into the fields by the Sawyer house. It's Franklin out there. Sally.
See my t-shirt now?
Sally.
Look at my croc t-shirt.
Sally. Right, neckties. This is literally the beginning, really, of Saw 5.
This is the start of the kind of episode of the movie long plot.
Yeah.
Because each movie has its own plot.
I like it when there's your group of victims together.
Yeah.
And they're going through each game in a way. Similar to Saw 2.
Yeah.
The group of victims.
They're all in the house.
I like that sort of setting.
Well, they have this in Saw 5. They have this in Saw 6.
And in Jigsaw.
Yep.
Yeah. This one, there's about 5 or 6 people.
5 of them.
Yeah, and they've all tied by the neck.
Well, the the link for the 5 people is they were all involved in burning down a property in different ways. So one of them was the developer who was trying to burn down this old property so they could turn it into, I think, like condos. One was
Doing very well here,
works at the government, like given what's it called? Permission to build buildings. Permits, there we go. Works at the permit area. One was an investigative reporter who investigated the fire and then decided to let it go. One was a junkie, and he was he was the one paid to burn the place down after being told it was empty.
Yep.
And the 5th one, who was the 5th one?
You're nearly 5 for 5 then.
Yeah, who was the 5th one?
Either way, the setup.
I think the 5th one is the one who dies early, because the other 4 I definitely remember talking. I think the 5th one dies in this trap.
Ashley getting hurt, getting decapitated.
So click on Ashley and see who she is, and then we'll work out.
The blonde woman.
Okay, just scroll down and we'll work out why she was in the trap.
It was a young woman and a fire
She was
inspector.
the fire inspector, there we go.
Inspector.
Okay, cool.
Her career, she investigated the fire in the apartment building that claimed the lives of 8 people living there.
So she was the investigator who said it wasn't arson.
Yeah.
So we have the arsonist, the investigator who was bribed to say it wasn't arson.
Yep.
The property developer who bribed people to burn the house down.
Yeah.
The investigative reporter who was bribed to drop the story, and the permits woman who takes bribes to allow permits. So it's all people who in some way have...
Very good,
There we
sir.
go.
Look at the homework being done here.
And the reason I forgot her is she's only in the first trap.
She's only there for this trap. The design is pretty cool. So they've all got a collar on, which has a rigged behind with a cable.
But all their cables are attached to each other. So they all go through the wall. So if one of them walks forward, the others get pulled back.
And the reason they have to walk forward is because about 10 meters in front of them are
Glass boxes
with the key
inside. Yeah.
But they don't know that one key will unlock all of the collars.
They all have the same key,
Yeah.
same lock.
But of course, human intuition, you panic.
Well, what it says in the opening tape
Oh, the tape, yeah.
is along the lines of, you are all out for number 1, but you need to put aside your natural instincts to survive.
5 will become 1 with the common goal of survival. You're all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just turns out that every single trap could have been survived by all 5 of them if they had worked together.
Yeah, and it becomes way more obvious as they go through the traps.
Yeah, I mean, in the second trap, the ceiling jars one, you think they could have teamed up easily.
Easily with that one, yeah.
Of course, the characters don't work this out until they get to the final trap.
Yeah, I think this one... I don't care who's in this trap. You wake up in an unknown building with this attached, you would panic. Everyone would panic. It's hard. It would be hard to keep calm in this situation, especially when the timer, you've got 60 seconds.
But the timer doesn't start until the first person makes a go for the keys, and it pulls, and then it sets off the timer.
Yeah.
Because they have a long chat beforehand, and there's a big timer in the corner attached to homemade explosives, like
nail bombs. Yeah, this is all filled with nail bombs.
So the nail bombs are in the corner, and the nail bombs have got a timer, I think maybe 15 minutes or something. So they know we can have a chat first, and that's how they get to know each other and work out that the investigative reporter, Morris.
Yeah, Morris.
He says, "Oh, she's a fire investigator," and how do you know her? And he won't explain it. The lady who develops the condos, I can't remember the actress's name, but she is Dexter's wife.
In the show Dexter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I never saw Dexter, no.
She has a really distinct voice. When you hear her voice, you think, that's definitely her. Because
Is she the woman that survives till the end?
Yes, she is.
Yes, okay, I know.
She's got a really nice, sweet, kind of lilting voice. She's got such a nice voice.
Yep.
She's in Dexter, of course, she's just goodness and light.
Right.
Whereas in here, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
But in here, she's got dark hair. So the first time you hear her talk, you're thinking, is that?
Oh,
it is her. Yeah,
it is, yeah. And obviously, behind them on the wall is like a V shape.
Super sharp blade.
Razor blades, yeah. Which we see get put into action as, I mentioned, Ashley gets pulled back.
Yeah, so after the minute, all the collars will get yanked, and if you're still wearing yours, it's going to decapitate you.
Doesn't the woman you just mentioned, she used a shoe to break the glass jar?
Because don't want to just punch through and it hurts.
No.
So Morris uses his jacket.
Yeah, he wraps it around his hand, yeah.
Yeah.
As a trap then as a whole,
It's a good one.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's amazing. I think it's good though.
It's a good group trap.
Yes.
And it's a good design knowing that they could have all easily survived.
Yeah. Looking at our tier, I think it goes bandsaw because we've got Nerve Gas House. in
Yeah, happy with
Bandsaw.
that.
I think it's similar
Yeah,
group,
I'm happy
group
with
vibes.
that,
But I think as we go on, where they start to learn, the next one I think is actually lower, but we'll get to that.
I agree.
Sealing jars. Basically, in this film they go from room to room to room. This one, sealing jars filled with broken glass and keys in. Nail bombs are about to go off on a timer.
So
but
nail
there's
bombs in the two corners.
But there's rooms, not rooms, like crawl spaces on the side.
Yeah, so there's kind of almost like tubes,
Yeah.
brick tubes leading out of this building, of this room, and they go up maybe about 10 foot.
Yeah.
At an angle going upwards. So the idea is if you crawl up to the top, when the nail bombs go off, you won't be caught in the crossfire.
Yeah. Because if they were just straight horizontal, they can fire through. Yeah.
So you have to find a key. They're
shaped.
There are 4 circular tubes you can crawl into, and there are, I think, maybe 16 or 20 glass jars filled with dirt and glass hanging. So you have to smash the glass, find a key, and if the key has a shape in it, you can use it to open the lock, climb out.
The problem with it, like, even when they
all just naturally assume, because he says only 3 of them will open.
Yeah.
They naturally assume, okay, there's only 3 and only one person will fit in each tube.
No.
As we see, multiple people could have fit.
Yeah,
Two people could have easily fit
visually,
in the tube.
you could see, why did you not just get in the same tube? Yeah.
But Morris decides to just beat up the junkie.
Yes.
And then the permit lady hits Morris from behind, knocks him down. Junkie gets a key. She gets a key. Developer gets a key. Morris is left.
Yep.
Explodes. He's dead.
He's gone. It's a hacksaw for me.
I'd go with that. It is a saw trap.
It's a trap. It's definitely a trap, but it's nothing special. Electric bathtub. They need to get the power. I can't remember exactly what for.
Okay, so they need to take the power away.
So glad you're here.
For long enough that the door will open. So there's a bathtub with water in it, and they just think we've got to put a body in the bathtub.
Yeah.
We put the 4 clamps on the forearms.
Yep.
And then that person will be electrocuted to death, but we'll all survive.
Yeah.
Turns out they each could have just held one of them on their own.
And it wouldn't have been as dangerous.
They wouldn't have died.
Yeah.
It would have been discomfort, but they would have survived.
Yeah.
But by the time they got there, they only had 3 people left. So they attack the permits lady.
Yeah.
Chuck her in the bath. Put the clamps on her hands and feet. She gets shocked to death. But then developer lady and junkie survive.
Yeah. What do you think? I don't think it's anything special, if I'm honest.
It's an interesting idea, but again, once you realise they could have all survived it.
Yeah.
But that's what makes this film an interesting one, realising they could have all survived if they just hadn't been immediately thinking we'll kill one person each time.
Especially with the next trap, which I've been looking forward to talking about. The next one, the amount of the less of an injury they all could have sustained.
Yeah.
I mean, so electric bathtub, I don't know, hacksaw or bandsaw. It's low,
Hack.
if I'm honest. Hack, okay.
Yeah.
This one, 10 pints of sacrifice. So there's a long tube with multiple circular saws, ready at 5, obviously. 1 for each of the victims.
Because this is where they realise, wait, why are there 5 holes?
Why are there 5?
We could have all survived.
Yeah.
I think the tape might say you could have survived all the. You all could have survived all the traps.
In some sense, there is, yeah. So they literally just need to fill this tube up with 10 pints of blood.
It's a big jar.
Yeah.
It's got little markings every pint. And they've got to put the hand in, get hit by the saw, bleed.
And I work with a circular saw nearly every day, and this is why this just hits hard, because it's what I took a bit of my thumb off with. Those things are ruthless. And it's when they do achieve it, it's sticking it in. It's about like going down the middle of the hand, I believe, in between some of the fingers.
Well,
and
you don't see it too clearly.
It's the
But
end.
very much get the opinion,
Yeah.
watching, that she is nicking her a little bit of blood, so she gets some spatter, so it looks like she's doing a lot of bleeding. But really, she's egging the junkie on to go worse and worse. He ends up with like his arm cut in half.
Because he lifts it up and there's just a big
It's
gash
split.
going all the way down the middle. Yeah. Oh.
But they fill up the 10 points. Most of it appears to have come from him.
Yeah.
She has bled quite a bit, but he's bleeding out. He's dead.
At this point in the film,
I'm sorry. One thing
Yeah,
that
go-
doesn't
go-
make
go-
a lot of sense
Yeah, go
is she puts on a tourniquet,
yeah,
and and then they start cutting. Like, no, you want the tourniquet for after you've done the bleeding part. Put the tourniquet on before you're doing the bleeding part doesn't quite work.
we need the blood to come out.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to make it take longer.
At this point, though, throughout the whole film, we've got new FBI agents trying to hunt down the victims, trying to hunt down Kramer, Hoffman.
Well,
Oh, no, Kramer's
they've
dead.
been led to believe it's
Strom. They've been led to
yeah.
believe it's Peter Strom, yeah. And they end up finding
Her.
Junkie, her. Oh, just her.
Well, I think Junkie's dead by this point. She
Yeah.
kind of crawls into the kind of room where Hoffman has set it all up and is watching from. But she doesn't meet Hoffman. She meets the FBI agent.
Yeah.
But not Strom. They're kind of the head guy.
Yeah. This to me, I mean, it's circular saw.
Okay.
Because it is a circular saw. Would you put it higher?
No.
No.
I'd argue for lower, not higher.
Lower. So
I'm happy to
Baz-
go circular saw, though.
I'm yeah, because of what it is.
Yeah.
I just realised we got freezer room and knife chair in circular saw as well.
Knife chair's so
Knife chair's
so brutal.
It's really brutal. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the circular saw, one of each. And we end 5 with the glass coffin, which is the twist of the film.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, how Hoffman
I
escapes.
love the twist.
Yeah, it's
Because
brilliant.
the tape is telling Strom basically, like, do you trust me?
Yeah,
If you trust me and you want to survive, you need to get in here. It's going to hurt. It's a glass coffin with broken glass on
Yeah.
in it. It's going to hurt, but you will survive. And then he gets into a fight with Hoffman. He throws Hoffman in there, locks him in. Hoffman's like, what are you doing? Like, it's silent, but kind of looking terrified.
Yeah.
But he knows what's actually going to happen because the room they're in
All start caving
start
in.
coming in, and then the glass coffin kind of lowers, and Strom gets crushed completely inside this room.
This though is where my somewhat minor complaint comes into discussion with engineering, knowing how precise all these things need to be, how the walls are going to come in whilst this coffin comes down. Like, it's so precise, but this point,
I think we have to kind of ignore a lot of that.
Oh, we're getting to the point now in the film
saying
where
we're happy that Hoffman could design that pendulum device to slowly swing down lower and lower and lower.
Yeah, I suppose. But we're getting to the silliness part of the series. Yeah, we just got to accept
Although,
it.
at least by this point, he's been working with Jigsaw long enough that, and Jigsaw has been pointing out if you change these, up your gear ratio, blah blah. So he's been kind of at least teaching him a bit as he went along.
And this was probably made as an escape route anyway.
Yeah,
because as we go back to the beginning with the water cube, Strom, when he's in the surgery room, the lights go off and he sees like the secret door, which leads and eventually leads to it. So there was always a backup plan. So this was probably a backup plan. There's always a backup trap or plan. It's great, glass coffin. It's terrifying, that fort, the getting crushed fort. That it is horrifying, knowing you have no escape, nowhere to go.
It's really brutal.
The arm snapping.
The compound fracture in his arm.
Oh, it's high. It's high. For
also,
me.
it's quite handy because as it's getting closer and closer, he's trying to climb up the walls, get to the roof, which has got like grating.
He's trying to break it. Yeah,
which means that when he gets crushed, his fingers are left above the grating, which is handy for Hoffman then to use it to plant fingerprints later on.
Yep.
In the next films.
I think it's high.
I'd say it's high.
Bounce or circular saw.
I'd
be willing to put it in circular.
It would have been easier to survive if you obeyed what it said on the trap.
Could have
if you want to
listened.
survive.
Yeah, could have done it.
You need to get in this coffin.
Yep. It's
But
a
he
solid,
didn't.
solid trap. The room it's in though, who went into that room first? Because they have a little scuffle.
He did.
Strong.
Strong went in first.
And then where did Hoffman come from?
Just kind of snuck up on him.
And they have a little scuffle.
Yeah.
Then he throws Hoffman into the trap, thinking, "Ha, I got you," right? Yeah. Okay. Maybe bandsaw them. Just straight up in bandsaw.
Yeah, happy with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's 5. So a couple in hammer.
You put it in circular.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So as we look at 5, mostly mid.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but mostly mid. All just
Couple of rubbish
all
ones.
just okay, really.
Yeah.
So on to Saw 6. Saw VI, if you will. Or
6.
Sex. Saw sex.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, that would be a bad trap. So we're going to kick this off with Pound of Flesh.
So this is the opening one of the of the film.
The episode. There's always that's kind of another staple of this series.
You get an opener which doesn't fit in with a long game.
Doesn't, but sometimes it fits in with the rest of the film. Like this does come back
Does
for
it?
a clip. I'm fairly certain the woman that survives this.
Oh no, she comes back in Saw 3D to be pissed off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Whereas,
And also she comes back in later on in this film,
back up.
Hoffman talking to her.
Hang on a minute. Screen. There we go. One of the other traps, Mausoleum, is actually key to Saw 4 because the guy that survives it is basically the Zepp of that film. He's the
But the survivor of Pound of Flesh isn't in charge of anything else.
No.
She just rocks up in the film later on when she's in hospital.
Yeah.
And she rocks up in 3D.
There's also someone else involved in Pound of Flesh. There's 2 people.
Yeah. So I think they say that they prey on people. I can't remember what their jobs are. I think they might be kind of legal loan sharks, your I was about to say cash for gold, but that's not what I mean. I mean like your payday loaners type people.
Wonga.
I think that's what I was trying to
Yeah,
think of.
Wonga.
They are Wonga. So I think the idea is that they're both kind of cash, like payday loan type people.
Right.
And so they need to give their pound of flesh. So they're on the opposite sides of the trap. And they've got like a hacksaw and a hatchet and a knife on their own tables, which are chained to the table so they can't put them into where the trap is.
Yep.
And they've got to put their pound of flesh on a kind of seesaw scales. And whoever has the most flesh on the scales after the minute timer finishes, the other person gets killed.
Yeah, now
but they've got kind of screws bolting into their heads.
And like little drills.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing I just remembered right now that, okay, there's a way out of this trap, but what is the actual trap really? It's kind of that.
Oh, is if you lose, they're going to drill all the way into your brain.
Yeah, it's the headpiece, which is gruesome.
So she is a very fit woman. He is an overweight man.
Yes.
Because he starts going straight into...
he goes for the belly.
Oh, no, he goes for the love handles. All I could think was 7. The lawyer in 7, a pound of flesh, no more, no less, and he's cutting off the love handles. You only see the aftermath of it. You seen 7?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant Saw 7.
Oh, no, the film 7.
Yes.
So you see the aftermath when the lawyer tried to cut off his love handles for a pound of flesh.
Gruesome, yeah.
So that's what this guy does. He starts trying to cut off the love handles. And she is like... She pulls up her top and she's just like toned abs, like... So she starts trying to chop off her arm.
Yeah.
She gets a knife and cuts through, and then is trying to cut through the bone. And I'm thinking, there's a cleaver there. It's going to be a lot better getting through your bone. And she ends up getting the cleaver and then going even higher up and starting again.
Does she clock the cleaver?
She does.
Yeah.
But I think she thinks that the knife will be enough.
Yeah.
So he cuts off a big chunk, puts it in, he's winning.
Yeah.
He cuts off another bit of a chunk, puts it in, he's winning even more. And she, just before the timer's up, drops her fucking arm in, and she's taken off above the elbow. No,
yeah.
I think she took it off like almost at the elbow. But later on, when we see her in hospital, she's bandaged higher up. They might have had to cut off more of the bone to be able to properly seal it up, as it were.
Yeah,
so she wins.
She wins. It's quite straightforward.
It's a very straightforward trap. It's a good one.
It's weird, like, to say it feels like a trap that would be in Saw 1 or 2, maybe. Like one of those flashback traps. I don't know. Saw 1 or 2, maybe. It doesn't... Because later on in the films, they get so... Like, we'll see. They get so nutty and wild. Like, a bit over the top in a way.
This feels basic compared to the rest of the traps in this film.
Yeah. I like it.
Not in a bad way.
No.
Sometimes basic is good. This is a good idea for a trap.
As we've established pretty much from top tier, it's very basic. I mean, the rack is quite
It's
complex,
very engineered.
but yeah, it's...
I'd happily put this at circular. I think it's a really good idea.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that.
There's a very clear way to win.
I'll be honest. As I'm looking at the rest of them for the Saw 6, probably the top tier one.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, out of the rest of them. Literally from what I can remember. We are really getting to the point now where I should have done my homework. I apologise to everyone.
All right, so now we hit the main game of this film.
Yeah.
And it's a game a lot of people, any viewers and listeners in America, might have a lot of kind of opinions about.
Go on.
Well, it is the guy playing the game is the insurance company guy who turns down medical.
That's
claims.
it. That's the one. Yeah. Okay, I remember now.
So, as it turns out, we find later on in the film he turned down John's medical claim.
Yes.
He met John like early on, before John had cancer.
Yeah.
I think he knew John's wife because she was a doctor. They met at like a party and they were chatting. And he was talking about he has his formula. So you look at each person who applies for insurance, and you look at how long they're expected to live for, what percentage they are going to have a claim, and you work out if they're going to be worth insuring or not, and then you disqualify them, or you insure them.
Yep.
And later on, if they do claim, you go through with a fine-tooth comb everything on their application to find any slight error to then deny them.
Yeah.
But you've still taken their money for like 5 or 6 years. So the main guy going through this series of traps...
This is who I'm thinking of.
...is the insurance company kind of head guy. And all the people involved in the traps are people he like works with, or people he's in some way has a relationship with.
Yeah.
So early on in the film, no, that's not him.
No.
Early on in the film, we see that there is an acid room.
That's what I'm thinking of. William Easton. He was in season 2 of 24.
Okay.
He tortures Jack to a point of Jack losing his heart rate.
Oh, okay. So we see there's an acid room.
Yeah.
There are two people in a cage, and there's a big vat of acid in the room with them.
Hang on, is this the Auction Crusher?
No, but this is talking about the whole film overall. So we see these two people in the acid room.
Oh, okay. I remember.
And they can see on a video screen him going through these traps.
Yeah.
They're not particularly like, it's not high def.
Yeah.
They can see what's going on.
Yeah.
And there's a handle for live and die, so you can switch to live or die.
Yeah.
But above them, there's a sprinkler system. So they're like, okay, if we click die, it's going to put the acid sprinkling on us. We're going to die. Because they can see the acid is dropping. There's like a few drops coming out of the vat, which is burning a hole in the floor.
Are we aware at this point this is his wife and son?
He is told that, you need to save your family.
Yeah.
And then we see the wife and son there, so we put it together ourselves.
Yep. Okay.
So the Oxygen Crusher is one of them is that Easton wakes up and he's got like a strapped to his face a breathing mask, like the type that you might get on like a somebody who has sleep apnea, the type of mask that completely straps to your face so that no air can get in or out around the mask, because some of them it forces in and out. So they've both got these masks on their face, so that any breathing they do the machine picks up on it.
Yeah.
and they've got like that crushing in on there from the sides. They've got like a vice almost. So every breath they take causes the vice to crush more and more and more. And it's him against him, who's a healthy guy, against his kind of chain smoking janitor.
Easton's the insurance guy. He's going through the whole traps, the whole film. But he has to set himself in it as well, right? He has to put himself. Or is he already? He wakes up in it. He's already in it.
He wakes up in it. It plays, and then he has got attached to each wrist and each ankle an exploding collar type thing. So after he finishes each trap, he gets a key and he can take one of them off.
Okay. We're also again in a series of maybe not linked to each other, but room after room after room again.
So this takes place in like an abandoned zoo.
Yes, it is. I remember from the end. Yes. Because there's like a command center looking out over these specific rooms, which we'll get to. Like
there's also a bit where he walks through, clearly the reptile enclosure.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now. I always think with these films, this got to be like in Detroit, because where are all these buildings? These abandoned buildings that have no security.
I mean, there's an abandoned mental asylum in Watford, not too far from where we are. I've always wanted to go and check it out.
There's one in London Colney.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the one?
No, there's different ones.
Oh, cool. Like,
also, there's the Grove golf course.
I'm aware.
There are underground bomb shelters.
Oh, sick.
That kind of just peek up. And
sick.
They still are there, though.
Oh, wow.
They're all kind of abandoned and creepy and grown over. But yeah, you can find abandoned places if you look hard enough.
Yeah. I mean,
these guys, him being a policeman, they will know where the abandoned places are.
But Kramer.
Oh, Kramer's very intelligent. We'll just use that as the excuse for everything.
The original bathroom. I mean, we find out where that is located. I swear we do later on.
We end up back there.
Yeah, we do end up back. See, Mayboy's skeleton, decaying body skeleton,
and Hoffman ends up back there.
Yeah. So the Oxygen Crusher,
it's well engineered. It just really feels a bit dull.
I think it is dull. I'm going to keep saying this. Thank you for your explanations of all this, because I would have nothing for these. Yeah. I should have watched them. It's whatever. I'm Hacksaw. Oh, man.
I'd say Hacksaw.
I think it's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
The Gallows.
Okay, so here we have who I believe is William's assistant and William's receptionist. So the assistant is a young lad who has no family and won't be missed by anybody, but he's fully fit and healthy and he's young. And then we have the receptionist, who is old, family history of diabetes. But whilst she will live less, or whilst she will have fewer years going on if she does survive, she has got kids and she's got a husband. So the young lad would have more life if he survives, but she has more people who would miss her.
Yeah.
But judging by Easton's whole kind of who deserves to live and who deserves to die with the insurance, his own calculations, he should save the young lad. Because the young lad is going to have more life, blah, 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 whereas she is going to have to claim more. She's going to be sick more.
Yeah, because she's got a history of diabetes, as it states here.
So they're both behind glass. They've both got their hands, I think, cuffed, and they've got a noose of barbed wire around their necks.
Yeah, that's
and he has to choose who to save. And he's got a handle on each side, but he's not strong enough to hold both of them up, so he can only hold one of them up. It's like the platform they're on is going to fall away. And he ends up.
It's not a trap.
He has to decide who lives and dies.
Yeah, it's... The majority are traps based on said person, would be Easton.
Yeah.
For him to solve, to appreciate his life.
Yeah.
This is nothing to do with his life in a way whatsoever.
But it's making him see that his way of looking at things is wrong.
Oh yeah, all of these are lessons for him.
Yeah.
But they're not. I mean, this one doesn't physically affect him. It's emotionally and mentally affecting him.
But you're right, this one doesn't physically harm him.
No.
The other ones all do in some way.
Yeah, the
This
last
doesn't
one,
yeah.
the next one, the steam maze.
This is more just proving that you're wrong.
Yeah. If you can live with the guilt.
Yeah. Who will you kill? I'd say it is a trap.
Then it's very loose, and I think it goes straight to hacksaw.
Oh yeah, I'd say definitely it's a hacksaw trap.
We're still yet to get another chainsaw. Still yet to get another top tier. Oh, you mentioned before we started this, you've got another like top one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, definitely.
It's coming. It's coming. Okay. Steam maze. This is exactly what it says on the tin.
I hate this trap. Not as in it's a bad trap. As in, I would hate to be involved in this trap in any way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, burning is horrible, but scalding with steam is worse. Steam. If you've ever been scalded with steam, it lasts for so long. It's so painful.
Do you know what? I can't say I have. But again, this isn't him.
No, it is. He also gets hurt.
Does he get? Does he?
Okay,
So okay, sorry.
She
My
is
apologies.
in like a maze.
Yeah.
And there's steam jets coming off, and he can turn off the steam jets by like pushing a handle.
Yeah.
But then the steam hits him.
Oh, okay. So sacrifice.
So he has to take the pain to
help.
help her to escape.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So she's got like a collar around her neck that's going to explode, I think. And he has to get her through. So he sees a handle to help her. I think it almost points and says, help her.
Yeah.
So he pushes it and it burns him and he stops pushing it. But then they realise, okay, she gets right up to where the steam is, crawling through this maze. He pushes it, she gets through, he lets go. The next one is like the worst one because as he pushes it, it's shooting like his underarm with steam. I think in every movement after that is going to be absolute fucking agony.
Meant chafing.
But she gets like through the steam part. She climbs up a ladder, and then she sees that the key for her collar, there's a little X-ray. It's inside him because when he wakes up in the first trap, the breathing one, he can see like he doesn't see it at first because
Is he a scar?
he doesn't see it at first because the vice is there.
Yeah.
Once he gets out of it, he lifts his shirt and can see like a mark there. He thinks it's from the vice. Actually, whilst he was asleep, he was open.
Okay, that rings a bell.
They put a key in there. They closed it. So she sees like an X-ray showing where the key is in him, and she's got like a fucking circular saw. She runs at him with it because she needs to get the key out before she explodes, and he's trying to defend her off.
Yeah.
And eventually, she doesn't manage to get the key, and she gets killed.
Wow.
So the collar goes off.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. I'm seeing the shots in the Debbie attack. Debbie, his lawyer. So again, part of the corruption, the insurance corruption.
But no, this is a good trap. I mean, I hate it. I told you I hate drowning. I hate burning. They're two of my
Yeah,
really
we talked about that.
And this is being burned by water. It's county drowning. But no, it's
This is,
steam.
yeah.
As a kid, I got burned by being a proper thick kid. You know, no matter how many times Mum says that the oven is hot,
No, but you've got to
not
touch
until
it.
you burn yourself that you realise the oven is hot.
You've got to touch it.
I didn't understand how smoke could hurt you, even though it was steam. I just put my hand above the kettle. And I was like, it's not that bad. I just held it, and eventually it was a really painful burn.
Yeah, no, I completely get that.
I would put this in circular. I think
Really?
it's definitely better than hack. Because he has to take the pain to save her.
Yeah, okay, as we said last time, the last one, it's more of a mental, emotional pain. This is physical. So, yeah, okay, all right. Okay, I'll give you that one.
But also, he could have saved her. The last one, he had to
Yeah,
choose
he
between
could have,
two
he
people.
could have.
Here, they could have survived.
Yeah.
They didn't, but she could have.
So
next one is a shotgun carousel.
Now, when I mentioned earlier about this start getting a bit goofy, this is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think this is really silly. This one, I remember this one.
Very silly one.
I remember this one.
So you got the 6 people. Now these are the 6 people who work for him. Basically, they are I think he calls them his dogs. They look up
dogs.
They look up all the people who, any claim that comes in, these 6 people, their job is to go with a fine tooth comb, go through their policy and their application and find any reason they can deny the claim.
Their findings result in over 2/3 of all applications denied or prematurely terminated. Now you must apply your analysis to them. Will you be able to find their errors? 6 ride the carousel, but only 2 can get off. The decision of which 2 survive falls upon you. So it's just from the tape.
So the idea is that they're on a carousel, it spins around, there's a shotgun facing them, and he can raise the shotgun twice. He's got to put his hands on this kind of button, which I think stabs him or something. I can't remember exactly how it goes.
Look.
He gets injured in some way. He has to sacrifice something to raise the to raise the shotgun so it shoots above them instead of shooting them, but he can only do it twice.
Yeah. Do you think, just as I'm looking...
Oh, there's a metal spike piercing his hand. There we go.
Oh, yeah, I see. It caused the metal spike to pierce his hand. The shotgun slowly went in an upright position and shot above Emily's head before it returned. So that was avoiding killing her.
I think, as silly as this trap is, it's one of the best scenes in the film because it's 6 arseholes fighting for their life, just arguments they can come up with.
Yeah.
So... The last guy who dies is actually really good. Really good. I don't know who the actor is, but the guy did a really good job.
Let's see if I can find them for you. This one?
That's it, yeah, Josh.
Josh,
guy, yeah.
Okay. We got a quote here from him. Oh, well, that's it, isn't it? It's over. You motherfucker. You spineless pussy whip motherfucker. That's all it takes, ain't it? Bitch says one thing and it's all over.
The bit lower down. Look at me when you're killing me.
You know what, William? Your policy is bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Well, you listen to me, you son of a bitch. I did everything for you. Look at me when you're killing me. You look at me. No, and then probably boom.
Get shot. But it's that...
yeah, that's great.
Easton was just kind of trying to walk away. He's like, you look at me when you're killing me.
Yeah.
You look at me. And he really got across his anger and also his...
It's like he already accepted it.
Oh, he knew he was dead.
Yeah.
Because Easton had already lifted it twice. He couldn't lift it a third time.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows he's going to die. He's like, he's furious. He's gutted. And he really let him have it. And it... You said about this being like a mental anguish for Easton.
Yeah, this one is as well.
This one's really good.
Yeah. But also
it's a stupid trap.
It's a stupid trap. Also, William, he's taking damage himself. He's getting injured himself.
One issue I have with this film especially is that he's getting badly injured multiple times and it doesn't seem to affect him.
I do remember that.
He's been horribly scalded.
Yeah.
And he's fine.
Yeah.
Here his hands have been pierced, but he seems to be fine. It's just there's no lasting damage between rooms, it seems.
The spiral, not the film, the spiral logo, which is kind of, it was never really used as the logo for the films, but it's very synonymous with the films, which is on Billy the doll's cheeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's on the carousel. I'm fairly certain it's on the carousels. Yeah. I wonder if that played a part in when they were creating. Oh, it's a circle. Oh, carousel. Oh, it spins round like a spiral. Let's go with that. I wonder if that has any relation to it. But
if he had been able to lift the shotgun 6 times, if he could take the pain 6 times, this would be a good trap. The fact that he can't save 2/3 of them because of the way the trap is designed, I have an issue with it. It's like, it is a trap, but it's not a good enough trap. Like, the gallows was an interesting trap, but he couldn't save them both, so it goes into hacksaw. This is a trap. He can save people, he does take damage, but it can't go anywhere higher than hacksaw because he can't save everyone.
Yeah, which then means...
But as I said, Josh's final angry last words are the best part of this film.
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good. He is so angry, and it sticks in your mind having watched it, and I really, really liked it.
And the thing about what you just said about not everyone could survive. People that kind of comes back to Hoffman's agenda with where Jigsaw's traps there was nearly 100% always a chance you could survive. Nearly, if you really tried, you could survive. I'm fairly certain, right, with Jigsaw, because that was his MO. He wasn't a murderer.
You had to be able to survive.
Yeah. This, and similar to the gallows, someone was going to die.
Yeah.
Someone was going to die, and someone is going to die in this carousel. Jigsaw wouldn't have done that.
No.
That's not his MO. So this goes Hacksaw, right?
Yeah, I say Hacksaw.
Okay.
It deserves to be higher just because of Josh's death scene, but it can't be.
So we come back to the acid room. It looks like.
Actually, we have missed something.
What have we missed? What have we missed, Nick?
Oh, no, we haven't. No, ignore me, sorry.
We haven't missed anything.
Having watched all these films in close proximity, they're kind of blurred together.
They do, which is why I'm struggling at times. The other thing, I guess, we haven't missed, there's always normally two stories going on with these films.
Yeah.
Whoever's involved in the traps,
Yep.
and, I don't know, the thriller part, the cop.
So the other part has been...
Is it Jill and Hoffman?
Hoffman and Jill.
Yeah. Which we'll come to in the final trap. But the acid room.
So here we have what we believed, because he's been getting through these traps to save his family. He gets through, and we see, I think she's an investigative reporter, who we saw earlier on in the film with Jill and with Hoffman trying to get... Like, she sensationalizes the saw traps and stuff.
Is Easton having an affair with her?
No. Do you know why? She's his sister. He's gone through all these traps to save his family.
Well, where I got that from?
Which is his sister. No. You are led to believe, watching the film, you think she's his side piece, he's trying to save his family, the wife and son.
Oh,
Turns out,
yes.
The wife and son are actually, early on in the film, we see him denying somebody coverage, and the guy ends up dying. Because they went through with a fine-tooth comb, his application. He had elective surgery on his jaw before he made the application and didn't disclose it. Now, it was, I think, to remove an abscess from his gum. It was a nothing surgery.
Yeah.
But that was enough to cancel his policy. He'd been paying for 10 years, and they cancelled the policy based on that. He had a heart condition, which was easily treatable, but with expensive medication. So it turns out that the wife and son we see are actually this guy's wife and son who have died, and they recognise you're the insurance guy who denied our husband's claim. That's the twist for this film.
You know what's going to be really good? So once we've done all this, then I'll go and watch them. And it won't mean a damn thing to any future episodes until we come back in about a year's time and do some Saw films. So the other room is his sister, yes. Okay.
So the wife realises that the live or die is their choice to kill the other two. Although she thinks it's the other two.
Yeah.
She can't bring herself to do it, but the son can. And these spikes come down and they swing down and they pierce Easton and they fill him up with the acid, which then kind of he melts apart. It's very weird.
Hacksaw?
Yeah, Hacksaw.
How does... You're doing a lot of the hard work, and I appreciate it.
Actually, I don't know if really it is a hacksaw, because this is just an execution thing.
Yeah, it's not really a trap in general, is it? I mean, there are...
It's like, can the wife and son bring themselves to forgive this guy? But
is it similar to Zepp's test, to Amanda's test?
No, it's more similar. Like, Jeff has to accept forgiveness in Jeff's test, which he doesn't. He kills Jigsaw, which then kills his wife. But he's been going through everything to learn it's about forgiveness, whereas they just suddenly realise, oh, you're the dickhead who killed our husband. I can kill you. Boop.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a trap.
Hammer them.
I think this is an execution. It's a hammer.
It's
interesting.
Do you recall at all? Does William Easton, as we've been talking, if we said him or Easton is the main
insurance guy
going through all these traps, is he related to the side story of Jill, and obviously he's to do with John Kramer's insurance?
Jigsaw,
yeah. Does he have any relation to the side story of Jill and Hoffman? What's happening at the same time? Do you remember at all?
Okay, so when when John Kramer dies,
Yeah.
he leaves a box to his wife in his will.
Yes.
And the box contains envelopes with, here are the next people for the next.
Yeah, but that's spread out throughout the film. We don't find out right at the beginning, do we?
No, but we do learn that I think the first person in the envelope was the insurance guy.
Yes, yeah.
So Hoffman is doing this because Jill gave Hoffman the envelopes because he kind of threatened her.
Yeah.
He sets up this first trap. So this trap was put into motion by John before he died. He planned it. So this is John kind of getting his revenge, but really trying to sort out the insurance guy who killed him, basically.
Yeah, we just think about how John was able to do all this while still just having an income and money to somewhat survive before he inevitably didn't survive.
Yeah.
Like, I work my arse off in life. I wouldn't have the time to not work, to do these traps, and have money to still eat.
John's a very good engineer. I get the idea that he's probably got some patents somewhere that are bringing him in some money.
Yeah.
Plus, his wife is a doctor.
Well, that's true. That's true. Oh, she's not a doctor, but she plays one in the film. The final trap, the bear trap, 2.0.
Well, I was just going to... Acid Room could also be called Luigi.
Luigi.
So Luigi was the guy who killed, in real life, the insurance
Oh,
head
yeah, a
guy.
couple months ago. Yeah, sorry, yeah. Free Luigi, by the way. Free Luigi. Bear Trap 2.0, which...
Execution. It's not a trap.
No.
No. Jill knocks out Hoffman with, I think she injects him with something.
Yeah.
She puts the bear trap on him so he wakes up. But there's no way for him to get it off. She's strapped his arms down to the chair. There is no key to escape. There is no way for him to take this off. It's just turns it on and then she fucks off so he can die.
But he does escape.
He does.
Via headbutt.
He gets his hand out. So he uses the trap to headbutt his own hand until it breaks.
I remember this.
Then he's able to get his hand out, unloose the other one, and then it's really clever the way he puts his head through a glass window that's got bars on it, so that when the trap explodes, the bars hold it in place for long enough he can get it off, and then as he backs away, it triggers fully.
It's actually quite gruesome when it comes out of his mouth as well.
Just bleeding all over the place.
It's unfortunate because we've already got it in Chainsaw, but it's in a completely different context.
In Chainsaw, it's escapable.
Yeah.
Here it's an execution device.
Execution. So
Hammer.
It's got to be Hammer, I'm afraid.
And just remember what we said there. We said that he had to break his own hand, and then he needs to swap over, go to the bottom.
We got to change this for the video.
He has to break his own hand to get it out.
Yeah.
And then his face, he almost rips off one of his cheeks when he's been able to tear it away.
He gets Heath Ledger Joker scars.
Yeah.
In the end.
But just remember, he just did this because in the next film it takes place maybe a few days later, and his hand is fucking fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry.
And he's stitched up his mouth, and there's like a little tiny scar there.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. So, Saw 6. So as we look back, they really are starting to get a bit weaker.
Yeah.
What's the highest Saw? We've got Pound of Flesh and Steam Maze.
Just because of the Steam, yeah.
Again, Circular Saw. We still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 in 6.
Yeah.
We got. That's the first film where I guess we've got 2 in as high as possible in the same category. Interesting, and it's taken up to Saw 6 for that.
But there were no banned Saws in Saw 6.
No, we went. There were 2 good ones basically, and then
everything was
just,
a hacksaw or a hammer.
Yeah. Okay, so
you want to swap Bear Trap and Acid Room?
I'll change that in the next clip for Saw 7.